Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to be talking about the summer solstice today, and I'm so happy about this. I have my roses here. Maybe I'll put them here. Yeah. Because this is a celebration of nature, connecting to nature in powerful ways. We're going to talk about the solstice as a time of manifesting power. Thank you and welcome. As you all come in, feel free, if you're watching live, to ask all your questions. I love having this forum where we can connect. And for those of you who are watching the replay later, I usually post in the community tab when I'm going to go live, and I do it before the new moon, the full moon, things like the solstice, and just more often because it's really fun to connect with you. So today we're going to talk about the solstice. This year, 2021, the solstice is on June 20th, Sunday. And so this weekend is a big celebratory weekend of the illumination, of the light, of all the things that have to do with abundance in nature. Now, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, lots of Australians, people from New Zealand, lots of people in the Southern Hemisphere. If you are, it's the winter solstice, as you know, and it's still just magnificently powerful manifesting day in so many ways. And everything we're going to talk about today, you can use when you're looking to bring more passion and deliberate creation to everything that you do. So if you've had something sitting on your to-do list that you've been wondering about or waiting to do or wanting to do, time is always now. And so this is a manifesting day. It's a time that has been revered throughout history as being incredibly sort of like a vortex moment. It's also half the year, almost just about precisely half the year. We're almost at the very halfway point of this year, which is almost impossible for me to believe. This year seems to have flown by, hasn't it? And at least for me, I usually don't say that. And this is a time to start by, whether you do it now or whether you do it right during the solstice or in the days to come, really look at how you've grown since the beginning of the year, decisions that you've made, things that you've accomplished, of course, but rather than just accomplishment, like the things that you could check off your list, also you as a person, what have you contributed? How have you developed yourself in different ways? This is all so important. This is the point. The point is not just crossing things off a list and racing through life. The point of the solstice is to connect to nature and your true nature and really be growing and thriving and living your purpose. A tree has a purpose. Everything in nature has a purpose. If you ever read or hear or study about ecosystems, every bug, every worm, every single bit of nature has an enormous purpose. And some of it is mysterious and not fully uncovered and may never be. And some of it is known and so important. And it's an integrated ecosystem. We are meant to live in harmony with nature, and we wouldn't live without nature or the earth. So I just want you to take a moment to acknowledge this weekend or now, to acknowledge how nature supports you, the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, the place that you stand on, the energy of the sun. The energy of the sun is super celebrated right now. The energy of the sun is life-giving. And we're going to talk about harnessing the energy of the sun today in magnificent ways. And I'm saying all this because it can be so easy to disconnect from nature or to sort of just visit nature from time to time and then spend the rest of our time here in our heads or racing from place to place. This is about continual connection with nature to supercharge your life in so many ways. So I love that you guys are here from all over the world. I'm so excited. And thank you, Mary. We're going to now talk about setting up your home for this new season and second half of the year, and really getting into this idea of nature power, flower power. I have my very favorite roses I was able to find. They look like they're painted. They are my absolute favorites. I'm going to see if I can find more of them and put them everywhere around my house for this solstice. We're going to start with just really cleansing in a natural way. My favorite cleansing in a natural way, and the best thing I could recommend for you guys to do for the solstice that pretty much anyone can do. And if you're watching this after the solstice or you forget to do something, it's not a big deal. Just do it in the weeks to come, because this is about really harnessing the season. So vinegar and water, white vinegar, water, spray bottle, spray down your mirrors, wipe them off with a cloth, spray down all your windows, wipe them off with a cloth, instant refresh. Your windows and your mirrors are really important and symbolic right now. White vinegar also has energy clearing properties. So white vinegar is going to help actually to cleanse the energy and bring you more freshness. Now, why the windows and the mirrors? Even if you can only do the inside of your windows, that's okay. If you can do both sides, even more spectacular. I can only do one side of some of my windows because I'm not going to get on a ladder and do the outsides. And just doing the insides is a massive refresh in itself. Your windows bring in the light. Your windows are the eyes of your home. And so when your windows are clean, you are bringing in fresh, clean light. They are also your insight, symbolic of you seeing the world, how you see, how you think, how you perceive. And this is about a shift in perspective. So when you clean your windows, you have this freshened perspective on everything that you see. Your mirrors are your reflection. And when you look in a dirty mirror, it's not pleasant. You see all of this stuff superimposed upon you, the smudges and the streaks and the splatters and all this stuff. You see that on your image. So when you polish your mirrors, one, you're going to have this crisp, clean reflection, which is what this season is about. Glowing, crisply, really being vibrant, being reinvigorated, being invigorated. And so you want that clean reflection, but also your mirrors are always doubling everything they see. So your mirrors, chances are, if you have mirrors pointing towards some part of your home, it's being doubled. And so you don't want to have your home have this dirty reflection either. When you cleanse your mirrors, that energy beaming at you is so crisp and fabulous and refreshed. So your mirrors, your windows, those are the two spots that I feel will really make a difference in harmony with this season. And white vinegar and water couldn't be cheaper. And so it's really inexpensive. And the easiest, the better. Now, another thing that I like to do for the solstices is to bring flowers home everywhere. I have flowers behind me that have bloomed, all these big lilies. I've got roses. I'm bringing more flowers in. I'm actually going to the farmer's market on Sunday to grab local grown flowers, more of them. If you can go out and forage flowers, if your neighbors grow flowers and you can have sort of an exchange, if you have a party and you have people bring flowers all around you and try to make this more of a regular thing. I've said this before, in a lot of grocery stores in the US, you can grab flowers. They're sometimes a few dollars for a bundle. This is definitely something to consider doing on a regular basis if you can. Flowers have incredibly high vibrations. Roses are considered to have some of the highest. I don't necessarily think that that's so. I do think roses have extremely high vibrations, but there's so many flowers in the world that are exquisite and all have unique healing properties, vibrational properties, and they all, again, serve a purpose in this beautiful ecosystem. So grab some of your favorite flowers and put them everywhere in your house where you want to boost. this is something that I used to think was extra. It is not. It is such a part of this dynamic life force that you want to create around you. How many of you do this on a regular basis? Bring flowers into your home or grow flowers. If you do this on a regular basis, you know how it becomes sort of essential and invigorating. So something to consider. There's a whole video on the channel on roses and how you can actually use roses and rose petals in many ways around your house when these start to unfurl. So after they're past their prime, you don't just toss them. You can use them in powerful ways. You can use many flowers in powerful ways to make potpourris, to dry flowers, all sorts of things. Now, one thing on that I mentioned in the rose video is that people have something against dried flowers. I wouldn't let these dry out in a vase and leave them around my house because that's like dried up energy. But if you deliberately take the petals as they're drying up and dry them and use them in potpourri, use them in baths. Certain flowers can be dried and used for tea, all sorts of things if you're growing them naturally. That is amazing. Connect and start learning more about the nature that appeals to you. You can also bring more plants into your house at this time. That's always lovely. The key here for this solstice is celebration. And then we're going to go back to this whole idea of planting and growing because it's the key to manifesting. So I'm so glad many of you have all this love of having flowers in your weekly routine. And you can even start growing some wildflowers. I have wildflower seeds that I'm going to go out and scatter somewhere. And you scatter wildflower seeds, and then you sort of step on them to put them in the ground, and you water them lightly, make sure they got the sun that they need, and they will just start flourishing. So, there's plenty of ways that you can start harnessing this energy of flowers and flower energy. Now, before we even get into celebration, I like to make sprays. Rose water is one of my favorite sprays. I buy rose water for spray. Sometimes I make it. I talk about it in the rose video. But another spray you can make if you don't have roses is something that I mentioned in the recent cinnamon video. I made an updated cinnamon video because people have so much success making money using cinnamon, bringing money into their lives with cinnamon, strengthening their intention. And this is basically, you just need a little spray bottle, and it doesn't have to be fancy. I like to have glass spray bottles. I buy a bunch of these at once, and you can buy them a little bigger than this if you want. And what I do is simmer a few cinnamon sticks. And I use cinnamon sticks for a reason, because if you use cinnamon powder, it's hard to strain it out. Cinnamon sticks, water, simmer it, and it's going to become a tea. And then you're going to cool it off completely, take the cinnamon sticks out, put it in a spray bottle. I spray this in my corners. I spray this all over my house, and it is dynamic. And it's very subtle. I don't spray it on me, and I don't spray it on my dogs or anything like that, or right near them. But it really is in the corners of your home, this enormous energy boost. I also do my doorway outside. I do my patios. I do the yard. I do everything. And so I go through a bottle of this cinnamon water spray in probably a few days. And it's so cheap to make, you can just refill it and make more whenever you'd like. And it's a very strong home energizer, connecting you more to the power of those herbs. And also, it is such an incredible, abundant refresh. We want to keep that freshness around us. We want to keep all that energy around us. Someone asked about keeping dried rose petals and buds in your house. I love having them for tea. You can cook with them. Apparently you make soap with those. That's amazing. You absolutely can leave those out as potpourri. There's also, if you check my channel, if you go back in the videos, there is a link to making, in the rose video, actually, I link it, making a potpourri that is full of abundance, and you can make it with dried rose petals as well. That's so beautiful. So now, celebration. Celebrating the solstice is incredible. How many of you have plans to celebrate the solstice? Are you going somewhere? Are you going to a party? Are you having people over? This is something that you might want to consider, celebrating the solstice. Actually having a party, a get together outside, preferably for a multitude of reasons. But if you can even just meet up with a friend, go to the farmer's market. That's what I'm planning to do. Calling friends and saying, we got to go to the farmer's market. I need all these flowers for the solstice, and we're going to celebrate ourselves and go get all this local produce and all these beautiful things. So how can you celebrate the solstice? Even if you're doing it on your own, it's about celebrating yourself. So as I mentioned, the halfway point of the year, looking at all that you've grown, all that you've learned, all the enrichment that's come into your life, right? And really harnessing that and letting that be your fuel moving forward, rather than thinking, I have all these goals and I haven't achieved them yet. I haven't achieved them yet. Why haven't they happened yet? Why didn't I get this yet? Where's that? This hasn't happened. No. Look at all I've grown. Look at all I've learned. Look at what I've done. Look at how things have changed. Look at who I was able to help. Look at all these new things that I brought into my life. Celebrate that. And you will see that that is what brings you to the finish line. And you'll start to appreciate the journey even more to the finish line of your goals than the goals themselves. It's not really about goals. One of my favorite ideas in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. If y'all haven't read that, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite parts of that book is that he says, people have a lot of similar goals. We all want success in certain ways. All my feng shui clients want similar things, not the same, but everyone wants more abundance. Everyone wants love. Everyone wants well-being. If you're interviewing for a job, you want the job as much as the other person does. But he says what sets us apart are our systems, the journey, how we approach it, the things that we do, the way that we approach life. And he recommends aiming to just become 1% better at something every day. And I love that philosophy. And it's perfect as we get into manifesting with the solstice, because this idea of getting 1% better every day means that by the end of the year, you're 37 times better at something, which is phenomenal. Can you imagine if you were 37 times better at anything that you want to do? Let's just say you want to be a professional writer and you're 37 times better writer by the end of the year. Or you want to start a business and you're 37% better business person by the end of the year. That's a lot to just aim for 1% and really be present. So for the solstice, the idea is to grow seeds, bring plants into your house, bring flowers into your house, but also plant seeds. And this can be metaphorical as well as actual. So actually planting seeds means actually planting seeds. Getting yourself, I bought a begonia. If you live near a Trader Joe's in the United States, you might be able to find one of these, a begonia in a pot kit, where there's a pot and there's the soil and there's the begonia. And I'm going to plant the begonia tuber bulb thing in the pot on the solstice, and I'm going to grow this begonia. Now, in order to grow the begonia, I have to do some research. I have to figure out where it's best to put it, in my house or outside, what's the best environment for it, how often to water it, if I should keep it near or far away from certain things outside, all things that I need to research to make sure that my begonia grows, the right temperatures, all those things. Same thing goes for your dreams. How many of you set a goal and you start doing something and you don't get instant results and you get frustrated? How many of you put a seed in the ground or plant something and expect it to grow tomorrow? Probably none of you do. I bet none of you plant a seed and expect a full-blown plant tomorrow. It's about looking at this process of growth in nature and really integrating that into how you grow your life. Because we sometimes push things away or make things very stressful and difficult because of these unnatural expectations that we put on ourselves, on other people, on all these things around us. Instant. I need it to be instant. It needs to be overnight. Where is it? Why hasn't it arrived? I meditated on it. I made a vision board. Where is it? So instead, let's look at what you want for the rest of the year. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to do or create? Now, think of it just like the seed that you would plant. First, you want to create an environment for it. You want to make sure that you have space for it. We don't usually think this way a lot about our goals. I do because it's my job, but it's about really having an environment where it can grow. So decluttering, organizing, and look specifically at your goal. If you want to write a book by the end of the year, do you have a space to write? Do you have an uninterrupted place to write? Do you have a place with a comfortable chair? Do you maybe need a desk lamp? Or do you need to move your desk around so it's in a better place? Set up an ideal environment for this dream to grow. Does that make sense? So just like you would with a seed, you wouldn't just take a seed and just go, oh yeah, let me just stick it in the ground. You would go, wait, how deep does it have to go? What's the right environment? What kind of soil? All of those things, right? Okay. So you're going to set up this place for your dream to grow. At the same time, you might want to set up time for your dream to grow, which means scheduling it, putting it on a calendar, not violating it, because you need to tend to your seeds. You need to be able to care for them. You need that room in your life to grow them, just like you need the time to water your plants and weed the garden. So you can't let it go, or the garden will get overrun and you won't have the things grow that you want, right? So we're going to really set up space to propel the second half of the year into this real harvest time, into the harvest of autumn, into just all this abundance coming in, really taking that all in. Now, I want to just move to one point about the sun and the solstice, because when the sun is out during the solstice, this brightest day of the year, we can harness the energy of the sun also to illuminate our lives. And while we have the sun, let's take this so much sun, let's take advantage of it. The sun is life-giving. The sun is something that warms us. It also helps us to create vitamin D, and it also helps to boost our immune system. These are all scientific things. Increases your ability to have great sleep and so many other things from being near and around and in the sunshine. And while you want to be safe about being out in the sun, there is a lot to be said for the power of the sun. Now, a few things you can do to harness that power and use it to fuel you include being out in the sun a little bit more. Again, that could be something you do to fuel you, which will fuel your dreams. Waking up and seeing the sunrise can be so invigorating and really sync your life up with the cycles of the sun. Again, giving yourself that time and space and energy to cultivate what you want and really feel the power of the sun in your life, this illuminating, life-giving force. Also, you can also, my favorite thing to do is to cleanse things in the sun, meaning the way that you would cleanse your crystals, your tarot cards, all sorts of things in the moonlight. During the solstice this weekend, you can put them out in the sun and really recharge and invigorate them. And you can do the same thing at home. You can open windows, let the sunlight stream in, open your curtains in the morning, let the sunlight stream in, and think of it as, again, cultivating the seeds that you're growing all that abundance in your life. So I find that to be really powerful when we're talking about growing things. Now, the next part of this is research and learn. If you want to become a masterful gardener, you need to learn. You learn from experience of doing it. And every year you grow and learn more and more and more and master things. And you also learn from learning. and doing the research. So what is it that you want to learn, and how is it that you want to grow? This is a great time to take classes. It's a great time to commit to a study. It's a phenomenal time to go deep and research all the tools and all the things that you need to know in order to excel. Just like you need to research how to care for your plants, research how to care for your dreams and the things that you want, and really go with what feels right. The School of Intention, the professional feng shui school, is starting again this summer. And as I'm opening it up and I'm having calls with people, everyone says, how do I know that this is for me? And I always say, because it feels right. I'm not going to make anyone do this, because it really has to feel right to you. And that's a philosophy that I employ across the boards with everything. And so if you're taking in a lot of information, doing a lot of research, what do you go with? What feels best? Because that is working in harmony with nature, with your intuition, with all of your power. So learn what it is that you need to learn. Get the training, or do the research, read the books that you need to read, cultivate your energy, feel that sun power, create an environment for your dreams to really flourish, and then do them with fun. And fun is my ending message of this live, because it's that fun that's going to, the fun in the sun, it's the summer. That fun is creative power. And it's so expansive, and it has such an amazing impact. So the more you approach things with that spirit of fun, the more it's going to sort of echo and trickle out into your work and your leisure and your relationships and your wellness and everything else. And so, yes, you're allowed to have fun before you accomplish things. In case you're wondering, some people think have been raised to not be able to do that until they've earned their right to have fun. The journey should be fun. And that's my philosophy. And everything you learn should be fun and invigorating and enriching and rewarding. So on that note, what are you planning to do for the solstice? If you didn't have a plan yet, maybe you've come up with one now, something fun that you can do. You certainly don't need to do all the things, but I hope you really enjoy not just this day, but the start of a whole new season and this momentum. It's a fire season. So this is momentum building, really going and taking the actions, really synergizing, getting things, moving them from here all the way into your body and out into life. Creativity is this full on, full body endeavor. And it's a real, multi-sensory endeavor. And it doesn't just happen here. It happens here and in your environment and all around you and in your community. So here's to synergy, guys. I'm wishing you the most amazing solstice. And if you have any questions, I'm going to check and see. Yay. I'm so glad, everyone. Yes, you can charge your crystals in the sunlight. So, so beautiful. If y'all want, if you haven't yet, you can subscribe, of course, to the channel. And I do these lives, as I said, I announce them on the community board. And I'm going to create sort of a regular time that I just always do them, so that you don't hope to catch it if you want to really see it or just know that it's happened. But I announce them on the community tab, so they go out to everyone subscribed. So subscribe if you like the channel, and that would be awesome. And below, if you're excited to become a feng shui pro, either for your own personal development or to integrate into your coaching, or to be a professional feng shui expert in the world in this one-of-a-kind way. The details for the school are also below. And I am always here to answer your questions, and always excited to hear all the things that happen when you implement any of this work. So have a wonderful solstice, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye, everyone.